Jim Hoft, the editor and founder of the Gateway Pundit, was censored, was blacklisted. You name it, the government tried to do it to him, and so did big tech. The Gateway Pundit is such a great resource, thegatewaypundit.com. You got to check it out. Jim Hoft joins us. Jim, thank you for all you do. How are you?
Great, Greg. It's good to be with you. Yeah, we were also the lead plaintiff in this lawsuit. Of course, we were disappointed with the opinion that was released today. But you're absolutely right, and your audience knows this. The government has been censoring conservatives, all of us, at one time or another. Gateway Pundit has been a huge target for them. And today the Supreme Court released their opinion in Murthy versus Missouri. It was not what we expected, but I do believe that we are going to proceed and move forward with what we can with the case.
So what they say here is we all know what the FBI was doing. We know what the White House was doing, censoring you and others. And I believe the gist of it is what the court ruled is that you could not actually tie what you went through to, say, the FBI. Like you couldn't 1,000% prove that the FBI was out to censor you. Is that it? Is that the big takeaway for them?
Right. And we talking with my attorney this morning, we expected that this process, this first step may have been difficult for us to prove, but we do believe we have much evidence of what the government was doing. We've done several depositions, dozens of them through this case, and it was through the attorneys general of Missouri and Louisiana. It was Eric Schmidt, who is now the senator of Missouri, started this, along with Jeff Landry, who was the attorney general of Louisiana. Now he's the current governor of Louisiana. They started this case back several years ago now. They asked the Gateway Pundit to join them right away because they knew from some other work we had done with the state of Missouri that we had been a target of the censorship complex, the government censorship complex. So they invited us to be part of this lawsuit. And then they brought in some very prestigious doctors, Greg, Dr. Bhattacharya from Stanford, Dr. Cariati from UC Irvine, and Dr. Koldorf from Harvard, who were all censored during the COVID pandemic. And they were, what we're finding now, Greg, and you know this, the articles we put out at Gateway Pundit, the reports that they put out, these doctors, they were 100% correct. And yet the government censored them from the public. And so I do believe we are going to go forward. I haven't spoken with our attorneys yet, but this has to stop, Greg. You know that. The fact that we were correct and they silenced us is really just, it's unbelievable in America that this happened.
It truly is. It really is just mind-boggling. Now, let me ask you this. Has there been any kind of upside for you in all of this? In that, look, they're talking about the Gateway Pundit, at the Supreme Court. Your name is in this decision, your work. I mean, has there been an upside with the promotion? I'm guessing probably not, because you really got to read this stuff, and the fake news is not reading it, and they're not promoting the Gateway Pundit, unfortunately. But what's the deal? Have you gotten a bump?
Well, Greg, I think, again, I don't think this is over yet. But yes, it's been helpful for us, of course, because it's for one thing, it's pretty much a kick when you're sitting in the Supreme Court and they start mentioning your name over and over again. So that's kind of exciting. But I think this is more important than that. I think it's really something that we have to proceed with because we just can't have the government. They were broadcasting. One thing we discovered. They were broadcasting to the tech giants before the Hunter Biden laptop was even exposed. Before we put out our initial reports in October of 2020, they were already warning the tech giants that this was coming out and to watch out for it, knowing that it was actually factual information that we were going to be reporting, that others reported. And so the government was doing some really nefarious things. it's just unfortunate to think that they could get away with this. And I do hope that we can move forward and have another day in court.
You know, there's that FBI agent, Elvis Chan, who was talking to them about this kind of stuff. Oh, a laptop or whatever, you know, something's coming from Russia. An FBI agent liaising in real time with big tech. It's insane. And I tell you, I really enjoyed reading his, some of these depositions because they got caught. They may have gotten away with it for now, but they got caught. They're getting caught. And you know, your reporting at the Gateway Pundit is fantastic, but let's pretend for a moment it wasn't. I mean, it's like people have a right to say what they want to say. You know, they don't have to be. It's none of the government's business whether we're right or wrong, to be honest. You know what I mean? So let's
Absolutely.
That's another thing that really gets me. It happens to be you guys were solid on all this stuff, but just pretend theoretically you weren't. That's not a crime, and they should not be bothering us. Jim, just do me a favor, a little bit of history. How did you start the Gateway Pundit? When did it come about?
Yeah. So this was in 2004. I started back when there was no Facebook, no Twitter, no video. Rarely people put pictures on the internet. I started back then as just mostly opinion site, and it's grown from there. Today we have 2.7 million page visits a day. So we're doing pretty well. We've grown over the years, and it's because, Greg, and, you know, thanks to shows like yours and others who have promoted some of our work, and you report the truth, people keep coming back. So our numbers continue to grow as the legacy media continues to, lose their traffic. So we're very pleased with that.
For Yoshanda, the Atlanta commute used to mean
just crawling along, wasting time in gridlock.
But not anymore. With Peach Pass, Yoshanda zips past the backups.
Peach Pass gets me to work on time and home for those meaningful family moments. The express lanes keep my busy life moving.
Less traffic, less stress. Get to your life faster with Peach Pass. Get yours at peachpass.com.
And Jim, could you just do me a favor? Where do you come from? Where'd you grow up? How did you get into all this stuff?
Right. So actually, I'm from Iowa, and like Carrie Lake, I'm an Iowa person from a family of 9 children. So that's the same story as Carrie Lake. We're actually friends, and I am based now in Florida. But I originally based the website out of St. Louis, Missouri. So. And we're doing pretty well. We're always under attack, though, from the left, Greg, as you can imagine.
Well, it's wear it as a badge of honor. I know Donald Trump does. I mean, you got the right enemies. These are the enemies you want. 2 more quick things. Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh, they ruled, I guess, with the majority against you. And, you know, look, I think, what do you make of them? I mean, are they scared? Do they genuinely feel this way? I feel that the intimidation and the confirmation hearing really messed with Kavanaugh's head. And, half the time he thinks about, look, how is this going to affect my children? He's a human being. I respect that to a certain degree. But at the same time, it makes me really, really mad. Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's very disappointing to see that, that it was a 6-3 decision. And so it was Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett who joined with these 3 leftists. And, of course, the Chief Justice Roberts who joined with them. So, yeah, it's disappointing. But I do believe we're going to regroup and have a new plan and move forward that way.
Hey,
it's too important.
Absolutely too important. You are a patriot. This is stuff that the founding fathers would be engaged in, and they'd be proud of you. Any thoughts on tomorrow, the debate? Everyone's talking about it. Just anything to add about that? I think it's going to be a catastrophe. I don't like it. I can't stand Dana Bash. I mean, they're just driving full speed ahead into an iceberg. I think the Trump campaign, and I love those guys. I don't like this debate.
It could be a catastrophe on several levels. I mean, with the hosts, obvious leftists, they have no love for Donald Trump. It'll be just like the other attacks on Trump. It could be, a 2-hour just, bashing of Donald Trump. We're kind of used to that. But I think on the flip side, it's going to be interesting to see if Joe Biden can stand for an hour and a half, and because that guy is looking worse and worse all the time. And so I think the Democrats must be very worried.
Well, Jim Hoft, amazing stuff. And this is not over, as you mentioned. Go to thegatewaypundit.com. It's one of my favorites, so I don't have to load it in each time I put in the website. But it's thegatewaypundit.com, correct?
That's correct, Ray.
All right. Jim Hoft, editor and founder of the Gateway Pundit. Thank you for all that you do. And by the way, if you see Kara Castronova around the office, we love her. I know she's done some great reporting for you guys. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Greg.
You bet.